What's up, guys? It is Captain Erik Tilson. We're not at ICAST today. I personally had had enough of ICAST. It's not really my deal. You know, ICAST is a cool show, but it's kind of one of those deals where if you don't work in the industry, like kind of like as media or work for a company, and you kind of have to like be there working, you kind of get this feeling there that like you don't really belong. You know, people there don't really care about you. And yeah, it's almost like a big political handshaking, kissing babies, schmoozing event. It's not my thing. So, but instead what we're gonna do, we've got Curtis Lowe out here. I haven't posted any more Curtis Lowe videos. Got 2 of them posted up doing kind of all the work to the boat, and those videos didn't perform really well, so I didn't really see the point in posting any more of them. But she is done. And as you guys have seen through the fishing videos, she's been taken to the lake a few times. And she is just as fishy as ever. But what I wanted to do today, before I launch her out here in my little private lake and go catch a bunch of fish, I'm just gonna do a walkthrough. And this is gonna be a final walkthrough. I'm gonna take you guys from bow all the way to stern, show you guys everything I did to the boat, and kind of how I rigged it. And also, it's gonna be really important, this is gonna be a shout out / kind of a thank you video. A lot of the stuff that went on to Curtis Lowe was donated to the boat from really good friends of mine. And you know, that makes it a lot easier. I didn't have to, there were a lot of products that got put on this boat that I didn't have to pay for. Some of these guys didn't have to give me these products, but they did because they're friends. And that's what friends do. We all need friends. So you guys, grab a cup of coffee or a beer, depending on what time it is you're watching this. And you guys stay tuned. We'll walk you guys through a really cool boat that I call Curtis Lowe and show you guys everything that I did to it. All right, guys, so like I said, we're gonna start at the bow and work our way to the back and kind of cover everything in between. One of the things that I did shortly after I got this boat was replace the trailer jack. This trailer jack is just a cheapie from Walmart, Shoreline Marine, but it is way oversized for this trailer. It's 1,500 pound, made in China, but it's got this really big wheel on this thing. And when it comes to, so I've been keeping this boat in the garage with my Phoenix, but because now I have 2 boats in the garage, I kind of have to manipulate them to get to certain things like my toolboxes and stuff in there whenever I'm doing other stuff. Having that oversized trailer jack with the way oversized wheel on it almost acts as like having a trailer dolly on here. And because this boat doesn't weigh very much, it makes pushing and pulling and maneuvering this boat in the garage super easy, super easy. And this boat just like, it will push around and move with like one hand. Matter of fact, a couple days ago, I had to redo one of the seals on my Phoenix trailer, and I had this boat pulled out about halfway out of the garage so I could have more space, and all of a sudden out of nowhere the trailer just started rolling away down the driveway. So I had to run out there and catch it. But moving on. Minn Kota Fortrex, 80 pounds of thrust. Massive improvement from what was on here before. Previously, this thing had this little aluminum plate that was mounted down the side right here. And there was I don't remember, it was a clapped out old raggedy, like a 40 pound thrust or 45 pound thrust, 12 volt hand controlled trolling motor on here. And this thing had like one of those stomp buttons here, one there and one over there, and like a couple of them, the wires, they were like, all the wiring that was in this boat was done with wire nuts. And like the wire nuts had come loose and like the wires were all corroded, and like the, you know, the switch pots were all like pressed through, and so like nothing worked. Good buddy of mine Colby is the old tournament partner, and my tournament partner, David Harris, his best friend in the whole world is a guy by the name of Colby. Colby was a freaking hammer stick around the Central Florida area for a number of years before he started working out of town, and he's moved away and he still fishes. Anyways, long story short, Colby donated the Minn Kota Fortrex to the Curtis Lowe. Huge shout out to Colby. This came off of a Phoenix. He bought a Phoenix, an older Phoenix, had very low hours on it. This was on that Phoenix. This trolling motor is almost in like new condition. It's crazy. It's like a brand new trolling motor. TH Marine, little vibration eliminator hub thing, couple spare props. Trolling motor's in excellent condition. Colby donated this to me. Said, hey, I put an Ultrex on the Phoenix. I got this Fortrex just sitting here. Come get it, put it on Curtis Lowe. So that's what we did. We also got a super heavy duty trolling motor mount from Tiny Boat Nation. This is the adjustable one. We'll get a little closer here. So because Curtis Lowe was originally designed as a saltwater skiff, kid you guys not, I guess back in the 90s, Lowe was gonna try to get into the flat skiff game. Originally had a pulling platform over the motor. And I'll show you guys the brackets whenever we get back there. But you get all the way here to the front deck, and this thing has a massive 6-inch step up onto a platform up here that could be used as like a raised, elevated, like a, you know, like if you're fly fishing or anything else like that. So big elevated step up here onto another little casting deck up here. Because of that, I had to get the really big adjustable, or I think they call it trimmable, trolling motor bracket from Tiny Boat Nation. This thing is crazy heavy duty. I mean, it is solid as a freaking rock, man. And so we got that. This step up is so big on this boat, I didn't have to trim it. I mean, I just kind of set it up there and it was like perfect. I brought the boat down to the lake, launched the boat, and with the boat sitting in the water and me up front, the way it would sit, put a level on the bracket, because I knew that whenever I deployed the trolling motor off the front of the boat, I wanted everything to be level, and everything was good. So the trimmable heavy-duty trolling motor bracket from Tiny Boat Nation was the move. I took it to a local powder coat shop here in Auburndale, had them powder coat it black because I knew that going with the swamp camo HydroTurf, everything else being black would look really cool on this. The black powder coated, heavy duty, drop-in trolling motor foot pedal well, whatever you want to call it. This is installed. Make sure you don't have to stand on one foot all day, run trolling motor. It's freaking awesome. Yeah, shout out to Colby, donated the Fortrex. This thing will do 5 miles per hour with the Fortrex on here, the 80-pound Fortrex. We put LED nav lights in the front of her. This thing had these really big, awful cleats mounted up here. And so whenever I took those off, I was left with some big holes. And so putting these LED nav lights on the nose of her just kind of made sense. Yeah, kind of moving down the boat. Like you guys have seen in previous videos, this is all HydroTurf. I installed it myself. The color's called Swamp Camo, and it's in a diamond pattern. Absolutely love this stuff. Gets rained on, you can hose it out. It's dry 5 minutes later. As rod straps go, went with the really cheap but simple, easy to use, long lasting, just the rubber deals you can pretty much get from anywhere. It's just like hook and loop style. We extended the front deck by about 24 inches. That's what this panel is. This is the original deck. But as a result, we have plenty of room. I can literally put like 5 or 6 rods on each side coming all the way back here, and they don't even come close to interfering with where you sit at. This boat has an insane amount of room. Small deck extension made a huge difference. But yeah, little rubber rod strap, bungee deals. Those things are great. They're cheap, easy to replace, easy to trim them. If you get them and they're too long, you know, you just simply like pull this little cap back and pull the hook off the end of the rubber piece and cut it off, and you slide the hook back on. And yeah, Helix 9. This is not a mega unit. It is an older, it is a Gen 2, I think. Might even be older than that. Helix 9. Still works flawlessly. No issues whatsoever. I've got it networked to the Helix at the console. This unit used to belong to me. I sold it to David years ago so he could use it on his Phoenix for a little bit, and then he gave it back to me, donated it to the Curtis Lowe. So we did not have to pay for that graph up front. The Comfortrol bridge mount that I used to mount it to here works really good. You know, I didn't want to go over the foot pedal well because the way that the trolling motor is centered. And if you're wondering real quick why I put the trolling motor down the center of the boat, this boat has no keel. No keel whatsoever. It's got those ribs or rakes that go down it or whatever. Those help with tracking a little bit. But on a boat like this with a really flat bottom hull, if your trolling motor is off to the side and you deploy it over here, you actually wind up kind of fighting that thrust the whole time being down on that side of the boat. The boat tracks straighter, it runs truer, it trolls through heavy cover better. Literally does everything better when your propulsion is centered on the boat. So I decided to go straight down the middle. It's awesome. Once the trolling motor is deployed, it literally opens up the entire front deck. I don't have a trolling motor bracket down the side in the way anywhere. It's literally nothing's in the way. So it's awesome. Yeah, because of that, there wasn't any room to put the bridge mount over top of the foot pedal well. So I simply put it over to the side. That's an old mount that I used to run on my Phoenix years ago. Got the little Comfortrol cup holder there with it, so I can keep a crispy boy up here with me when I'm fishing. But yeah, this works, elevates the graph a little bit off the floor. Looks cool. Yeah, the red doesn't really match, but whatever. We got the Grizzly cooler there. So there is no cooler in this boat, so we had to come up with something. I had a really awesome cooler that I had earned from a previous employer of mine. It was literally sitting on a shelf. It's like brand new. A little Grizzly. This thing will keep ice solid and cold for days on end. We added a little piece of HydroTurf onto the top of it. Makes a great little step coming from the bottom of the boat up onto the front deck. Takes up like no space. It's awesome. I removed a lot of the forward cleats on the boat because they were the old school style cleats that are fixed. And it's really easy when you're fishing and stuff. So I used to fish out of a bass tracker. And if you fish out of a smaller boat, then you know that whenever you have fixed cleats that stick up above the boat, eventually you're gonna catch a fish, you're gonna set your rod down on the gunnel of the boat, it's gonna slide under that cleat. You jump up real quick to go make another flip and yeah, you break a rod under a cleat. So we removed all the cleats off the front of the boat because whenever you're docking a boat anywhere and you're gonna tie it off, it simply makes more sense to have a cleat at the console that you can reach. We put a black fold down cleat here. I can get out my docking rope, put my fixed loop around here and just tie it off onto the dock. And when I'm done, stow it away. It's out of the way, no rods are getting broke. It works. Helix 10 at the console on another bridge mount. This bridge mount came from Chuck Pippin. I didn't have to pay for that bridge mount. He had several of them laying around. Shout out to Chuck Pippin for a bridge mount. The Helix 10, had sitting on my shelf. That's an older unit. Was on the Phoenix for a number of years. Graphed a lot of fish, caught a lot of fish. Unit still works flawlessly. These old Helix units, man, they're bulletproof units. Sad to see them go, but the new Explorer series are pretty cool. New steering wheel. The old crusty steering wheel was literally getting ready to crumble into dust. David Harris had this laying around. David Harris says, hey man, I got this steering wheel that I'm not using, brand new in the package. I think it'll look good on Curtis Lowe. It kind of matches the rest of the theme. When I bring the Helix 9 to you, I'll bring the steering wheel to you and you can install that on there. Steering wheel didn't cost me a dime. Looks good, feels good in the hand. It's got little grabs right here so that whenever you're doing 30 miles an hour and this thing's getting hard to control, yeah, you can hold on to it. It's high performance steering wheel. This switch panel made sense. Going to turn her on here. On off switch. At night, these switches all light up red. It's really cool. Voltage meter, 12 volt, cigarette style port so you can plug in a charger, and USB ports. We got conventional USB and USB type C in this thing. Breakers, switch for bilge, lights, turn sonar on or off. This is interior lights. I went with the Sasquatch sticker on there. AC system. This is super top secret stuff that I'm working on right now, but I've got a built-in air conditioning unit in the boat. Keeps us nice and cool on a hot summer day. And aerator switch in case I ever put a live well in here. I don't have a live well in here now. That was a live well, but walk around here and show you guys. Not sure what exactly these guys were planning on keeping back in the day, but might be hard to tell from camera, but you got about 18 inches of space in here and could probably hold 2 fish. This thing is tiny. So we plugged her off and she is dry storage now. Anything. Switch panel came from Amazon. My wife found this. It's really cool. It's all pre-wired. Friends. Wade came over 2 separate times. And yeah, Wade pulled all new wiring, new switch, new bilge, wires for the batteries and all that other stuff, pulled new wiring, in wiring loom, and then did all the loopers and jumpers and stuff like that up underneath there, the bus bars and just literally everything. It's clean as a whistle under there and everything has perfect power. Shout out to Wade for doing that. Moving on. Seats. Black and gray seats, they look pretty cool with the swamp camo. My wife got these off of Amazon. Really inexpensive, but really comfortable, and they do the job. I like the seats. And they're cool because they're fold down. Fold down seats are great in the summertime because if you've ever fished on the lake all day in the summertime and your boat has black seats in it, when those seats are open for a couple hours while you're fishing and you go to move and you sit down, yeah, fried butt cheeks, man. Those seats get freaking hot. Told you guys about the live well, just kind of converting it. You know, everything in here too that had a lid, we put new hinges in, riveted new hinges in. Completely plugged off the live well here. So now we just carry a toolbox, fire extinguisher, ropes, spare trolling motor prop, some hand towels, toolkit. You need to make sure you have all the essentials. I've got some spare emergency lighting in here, long pair of pliers, channel locks, adjustable wrench, and a screwdriver kit that has all the different, whether standard Phillips head on it, spare plug. Your emergency kit should have everything in it that you need to at least make it back to the boat ramp in case of an emergency. Don't get caught with that one. Also, don't get caught without all the proper safety gear on board. Fire extinguisher, we got a whistle on the keychain, we've got PFDs. All the rules, guys. They're there to keep you safe and out of trouble. 3 big Walmart lead acid batteries. Why did we go lead acid? I wanted to put lithium in here, but this boat is literally so freaking light that if I was to have went lithium in here, you would just blow away. Like, I mean, a little gust of wind come by and you'd blow away. This thing doesn't draft any water. It doesn't weigh anything at all. This thing floats across an inch of water. It'll run across a few inches of water. And I had to have some weight in the boat. So I knew that I wasn't going to acquire any weight anywhere else. So we went with big lead acids in the back, and we literally crammed as much in here as I possibly could. I added some new support brackets in the bottom in here so that I could rearrange the battery situation. This thing was originally equipped with a fuel tank and 2 batteries back there in the back, 1 starting in-house battery and 1 trolling motor battery. Added some more support brackets for stuff to sit on. Wade did the wiring. And now we can fit 3 giant lead acids in here, as well as still fit the fuel tank in there, and a brand new 4-bank, I'm not gonna pull the fuel tank out and show you guys, brand new 4-bank NOCO Genius onboard charger that was donated by my guy, Robert Perez at Hog Tech. He was making some upgrades to one of his boats, said, hey, Eric, I got this brand new onboard NOCO 4-bank charger. Do you need it or want it? I said, well, it's funny you say that, man. The Lowe boat is gonna need an onboard charger. He said, I'll mail it to you, bud. Don't worry about it. Another thing donated to the Lowe. 4-bank onboard charger. Shout out to Robert at Hog Tech. Yeah. 5 gallons of gas. And on 5 gallons of gas, we found this out the other day, so I wound up running her out of gas on Toho. Went from Southport to Whaley's, to the Locks, to Browns Point, to South Steer Beach, to Bell Lago, to Granada, to Millionaire's Cove, to Big Toho Marina to eat lunch, back down the lake and around some more. Dropped my buddy off at Whaley's, went to go back across to Granada, and she ran out of gas going about halfway back. So I hopped on Google Maps, used the measuring tool on Google Maps, or Google Earth, excuse me, the little measuring tool, and retraced roughly what my steps were that day. And she can do about 35 to 40 miles on 5 gallons of gas. So the old 2008 Mercury 50, pretty fuel efficient little motor for an old 2-stroke. Really fuel efficient considering it's extremely under propped. I gotta figure out a prop deal for this thing. It's got this little aluminum prop on here. Really needs a stainless prop. I'll get into that later. The cool thing about that prop and it being under propped is the whole shot on this thing is insane. 2 people, full tank of gas, the whole 9 yards. This thing will lurch up out of the water and be on plane and running. Literally from here to that tree right there. It's crazy. And it almost has no bow lift. It just shoots up, which I think that's the whole design, and it being a skiff kind of boat. I mean, you guys can see, and that's a full length shaft motor. That's not a short shaft motor, but that's trimmed all the way down. And she's already, you know, you basically have the prop below the hull of the boat. And this thing will run through inches of water, man. Trailer, we did a ton of work to the trailer. I mean, a ton of work. This trailer was mostly rusted, the rustable parts. The trailer is a galvanized trailer, but things like bunk mounting hardware, all the hardware for the lights, all the lights were shot in this thing. She got all new waterproof LED lights. all the way around. The fenders, so bear with me guys, the fenders are kind of ghetto right now. I've got to get some new fenders put on this thing because this thing originally had these crazy tiny little itty bitty car tires on these like grungy old galvanized wheels that look like you could literally stick your finger through the side of the tire. Went over to George's Tire in Auburndale with it, showed them what I had, and told them I wanted to go back with black wheels. I didn't want the galvanized wheels because they look like crap, and some tires that I wasn't gonna have to worry about. Get all this grass off of here. And we removed everything that was old and crusty looking, and she got brand new hubs, all new hub assemblies, new leaf springs, new mounting brackets, new bolts, new everything. She got all new everything all the way around on the underside of the trailer. She's ready to go. Lean, mean fishing machine. Absolutely love this boat. But I think that's it, guys. I think that's the complete walkthrough of the Curtis Lowe. You guys let me know in the comments what you guys think. I think she's a pretty cool boat. I got a lot of history with this boat. My grandfather owned this boat for 15 years. I had to take this boat to Lake Chickamauga for a national championship tournament one year because, well, it was during the year of COVID. My two-stroke on my Phoenix was blown up. If you guys remember, during COVID, you couldn't get a motor. It didn't matter how much money you had to blow. You couldn't get a motor. You just couldn't. They weren't out there to be had. Had to go fish this national championship. Called my grandfather. Said, hey man, I'm gonna have to borrow the Lowe boat. He said, sure, come get it. So David and I, there was a team tournament. It was a USA Bass and National Championship. We take two boats to Chickamauga. We took his Phoenix and we took the Lowe. Both of us practicing out of individual boats all week. And come the end of the week, long story short, the fish that the Curtis Lowe had found were superior to the fish that the Phoenix had found. As well as we found some fish on beds that were in a body of water that you had to take this boat through this really small little square-shaped concrete culvert to get in. The Phoenix wouldn't go through there. It would get stuck. It just wouldn't fit. Curtis Lowe, whoop, right through. So, the day before the tournament, day one, we come up with a decision to take the Lowe in a national championship event on Lake Chickamauga. But there was a couple of problems. Problem number one, unbeknownst to me at the time, Curtis Lowe didn't have any insurance on it. So David's mom at the time, who I believe worked for an insurance company, was able to get us an insurance policy on this thing real quick, good enough to fish tournament out of. And then problem number two, there was no live well in the boat. How are we gonna keep the fish alive? David and I go to the Walmart there in Dayton. We buy a gigantic igloo cooler, a couple bilge pumps, some tubing, some pipes, some fittings, some screws, as much stuff as we could conjure up, and go back to the cabin. And we rigged up the most incredible, and I still have it too. You know, to this day, I still have this thing. It was the most incredible cooler live well that you guys have ever seen. And it's mostly because David is like super extreme mechanic ingenuity guy. You present that guy with a problem and he's gonna present a solution. And yeah, we had a big igloo cooler live well that aerated and moved water and held more water than the Phoenix live well did. So it was cool. And we went out on day one and we freaking sacked them up, man. I think we had, 18 to 20 pounds on day one out of the Lowe, catching fish out of little backwater creeks and stuff like that. And lost a giant, probably 8 to 10 pounder on a bed that day. Would have really propelled us into the top there. But she was hair-lipped, she came off, she never came back. Day two, she wasn't there. And you know, we pretty much followed up day 2 with what we had on day 1, and we had a really good tournament out of this boat. After we've been back, you know, and I realized how much I love fishing out of this boat, I called my grandfather because I knew that he had kind of been having some ideas of selling this thing. Called my grandfather, said, hey, why don't you let me buy the Lowe off of you? Because I don't want you to get rid of it. And he says, well, son, I already sold it. I told my grandfather, I said, what are you talking about? You already sold it. You know, he freaking sold this thing for like nothing, absolutely nothing, just to get rid of it for some reason. I don't even know. Fast forward a few years later, she comes up for sale. A guy that lives in my grandfather's community buys it. I see it. I tell that guy, I'm buying that boat from you, one way, shape, or form, whatever it takes. He sells it to me, and now here she is, basically reincarnated. Kind of like the story of the Phoenix. Because she has rose from the ashes, because when I got her, she was clapped out. As you guys saw in some of the previous videos of this thing. Previous owner of this thing dogged this boat out, and she was rough. And now, she's a lean, mean fish catching machine. Back to what Curtis Lowe was supposed to be. Hope you guys like this video. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, because if you're not liking and subscribing these videos, they don't get any traction. YouTube doesn't think we're making good stuff. Yeah, I don't do a lot of crazy edits. I don't care to do a lot of crazy edits, man. It's fishing. My goal is to teach you guys stuff and to show you guys real fishing, in hopes that you'll learn something that you can go and apply on the water and make yourself a little bit better fisherman. So you guys let me know in the comments what you think about Curtis Lowe. Make sure you like and subscribe to the video, and stay tuned for more content. Going to Toho for the next 2 days out of the Curtis Lowe. Cameras will be rolling. The bite is on fire out there right now. We fished the iCast Cup on Tuesday, representing Team CPF Lures. I had Jason George with me and Mac Hoover. Mac Hoover, if you don't know him, look him up. Awesome media producer guy. Really cool dude. Love that guy, love fishing with him. He caught a freaking giant on a big old CPF Lures thumper worm, reeling it across Kissimmee grass. He lost a giant on a frog that morning. We were catching them out of the grass, in the reeds, and the pads, doing cool stuff. That's what we're gonna go do tomorrow and the next day. We're out of here. See you guys.